Hello everyone, welcome to Zelin's class, and today we are going to talk about numerical solutions of equations. So what is this part? Well, for some equations, if we want to solve for the roots, and for example, we have something like a function that is like degree of 5, then obviously we cannot solve it algebraically. So what should we do? Well, we are going to solve it numerically. So there are two ways of doing these type of questions. So one, you can sketch a graph and see that is it a point inside or not, or you can solve it by calculation. So now let's talk about the first method, which is to sketch the graph. Okay, so now let's try this question, which is by sketching graphs of y equals x cubed, y equals 4 minus x, show that the equation x cubed plus x minus 4 equals 0 has a root alpha between 1 and 2. Okay, so now the key point here is that you should have sketched the graph quite accurately, so otherwise you won't get the correct solution. So firstly for y equals x cubed, so we have to place the point here because x equals 0, y equals 0, and this is the only point of the intersection on x-axis, and same as y-axis. So now let's so 1 and here is 1 and 2 is should be 8 here. And however, for y equals 4 minus x, it is quite easy to draw the line, and we will obtain the point here as our intersection. This intersection is a root, right? Which this intersection just means that x cubed, so at this intersection, this means x cubed equals 4 minus x, which means x cubed plus x minus 4 equals 0, which means this is a root of this function, which, yeah. So it says it is between 1 and 2, and let's just check, is it in 1 and 2 or not? Well, obviously it is in the zone of 1 and 2, so which means we have completed. See, this is a very good way to solve. Yeah, this is a very good way to solve. But it is a little bit complicated, and it requires a lot of time to draw the graphs accurately. Or sometimes that you are not familiar with the graph. So for example, it's a function that you haven't learned, so it is still hard to sketch, which means that we have another way. And that is the way that we should use in the exam, which is solved by calculation. And let's do the same question again, which is show x cubed plus x minus 4 has a root between 1 and 2. Well, the first thing you need to know is so this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and if we have a random function like that, right? And now our range is from here, so it's from here to here. So the domain of x, for example, here is a and here is b, and we know that so fa, which is the value of y, fa, so is smaller than 0, which is under the axis of x, and the value of b, so fb, is greater than 0. So if we have these two properties, then we can say that there is an alpha that is between a and b, that f bracket alpha is equal to 0. So we can find the solution of this. Well, there are some properties that we need to know, that so it needs to have something to satisfy this. So firstly, the function must be continuous. Yeah, that is quite easy to understand, right? If it is discrete, then you have a function like here is, so it's not possible to have a value of x-axis. X equals fx equals 0, so it's not possible. So firstly, we need the function to be continuous. Secondly, alpha is belong to real number, so it can be equal to any real numbers. And I think that is what we need to know for solving this question. And so now, the question is asking us to show there is a root between 1 and 2. So if we have some chance, right? If we have some chances to show that neither f1 or f2, so one of them is greater than 0 and the other is smaller than 0. If we can prove this, then we can say that there is a root alpha, that f alpha is equal to 0, right? According to here, see, from this point to this point, there must be a point that is in the middle of it, and which it is equal to, the y value is equal to 0, because it has to pass through the x-axis. Okay, so now we just substitute the value of x equals 1 and x equals 2 into the function of x cubed plus x minus 4. Well, which we will get f1 equals 1 cubed plus 1 minus 4, which is negative 2. And for f bracket 2 equals 2 cubed plus 2 minus 4, which is 6. And here, that is what we want, because we want one of them to be greater than 0 and the other is smaller than 0. So here, negative 2 is smaller than 0 and 6 is greater than 0. So now we can deduce, which means there's an alpha that is equal to 0, and for the alpha is greater than 1 or smaller than 2. And we have solved this problem. Yeah, that is an example of how to do this by solving in calculation. And I hope you enjoy it. And don't forget to, and this is the end of this session, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, and if you want more information, you can go to the channel by GCSE by Daniel Dallas. And I think he's also doing other A-level subjects such as mechanics, physics, and math. So yeah, if you are interested, you can go to his channel and have a look. And thank you for watching this video, and see you tomorrow.